Sean.
Thanks so much, Regina. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for what will be our final GIP update for 2018. I appreciate you jumping on. This is we had a kind of an unscheduled call here, but we wanted to circle up with everyone with the year coming to a close and just give you some updates on SCRS and what's been going on both internally and externally with our team as we move into 2019. So today I wanted to just quickly recap our 2018 Global Impact Partner Annual Summit Meeting. We'll talk a little bit about the team topics that were discussed during that meeting, as well as some of our ongoing initiative programs. We are working continually with your teams to understand how folks are getting involved and where they want to get involved. And then we'll talk about what your GIP program covers moving into 2019, in case there are things that maybe you just weren't aware of moving into next year. As Regina mentioned, anytime you are so inclined, you can chat. At the bottom right hand of your screen is a small chat box, and if you chat to the panelists, we'll be able to get any questions you might have here at the end of the webcast. My goal is to get us through this quickly today and get everyone back to their desks. So thanks for taking a few minutes with us this Wednesday. I just wanted to start on behalf of my colleagues and the SCRS community, and I don't know how else to say, but thank you. Thanks everyone. Thank you everyone for your condolences around the passing of Christine Pierre, our president, did pass away in October after a battle with ocular melanoma. And, you know, one of the things that I wanted to share was it was a quick conversation about how do we help the industry work with SCRS. And this was literally a back of a napkin on a Southwest flight to a different conference one day with Christine, and we came up with a Global Impact Partner program. But the main goal here was to allow collaboration amongst stakeholders from a variety of constituent groups within SCRS. And of course, pair those groups with our Leadership Council to help inform SCRS of where we need to be headed and bring opportunity to gain some of the insight that those conversations and resources were building into our GIP community. And I know how proud Christine was to have each of you on board with SCRS. We miss her very much, but one of the things I need to share was that Christine was very prepared for this moment. All of our leadership team is here. We've been working with Christine's guidance over the last year, really, on what SCRS was going to look like. And all of our senior leadership team is intact. We are better than ever from a foundation standpoint moving into next year, thanks to everything that Christine worked so hard to build. And then finally, we are adding to our team. So hopefully by the next time we all get together, we'll have some new posts to share. But it was Christine's great pleasure not only to continue to work on site success, but have you share in that idea. And I just wanted to say, we are very appreciative of everyone's ideas and interests and condolences around her passing. I should share that one thing that's come just because of the outpouring of support, we will be forming a committee, and that committee will be helping SCRS evaluate opportunities and how to appropriately recognize Christine's contribution to the industry through SCRS. We've received a number of wonderful recognition opportunities and ideas. We are evaluating them as best we can, how we can over the next quarter or so. But right now, our goal is to work around a committee that will help us continue Christine's legacy throughout 2019 and beyond. So thanks, everyone. Oh, this slide didn't transfer so well, but I will share that we have where our GIP program is right at the moment. We welcomed Global Care Clinical Trials at the summit. In fact, Cognizant also renewed their commitment to the GIP program. And I'm proud to say you will be seeing here in the next month or so, we'll be having a few new sponsors and CROs join the mix as well. So looking forward to growing our GIP program into 2019. Well, it has been a very busy time since we got together that Sunday in Boca Raton. And we have just last week, in fact, met with our summit planning committee on next year's summit. And we're incorporating a lot of the ideas that we discussed at that GIP meeting into the agenda and program for next year's meeting in Hollywood, Florida. Now, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that. I'll talk to everyone a little bit about that later on in the webcast and how you can contribute. However, I thought it'd be a good opportunity just to share that our survey, we had almost 1,000 folks join us, 1,000 attendees join us in Boca Raton this year. 62% of our survey respondents said the conference exceeded their expectations, gave us an excellent rating. 32% said good, and apparently we have 6% that we need to turn around here, but we had 6% rate us as fair. I think someone at the meeting last week for our Summit Planning Committee said, I don't know what meeting those 6% were at, but anyway, we do take all of this feedback and want to make sure that we are improving where we can. And some of that feedback was quite valuable. Things like how do we help new sites versus experienced sites? How do we continue to develop networking opportunities for sites, sponsors, and CROs? How do we continue to help our solution provider community present and position themselves within the SCRS audiences? And one slide that I didn't put in here, but we have something that says one of the survey questions was how likely are you to work with a SCRS Site Solutions Summit exhibitor after meeting with them? And I think the slide was 95% more likely to work with a exhibitor from the summit. I think that's a wonderful opportunity to build on. We're working hard this year. You may have noticed that we have more folks from different constituencies in the exhibit hall. So we had a lot of sites, we had a lot of new sponsors, and we had, of course, our CROs and solution providers all inside the expo hall this year. And I would share that we're growing each of those categories already for 2019. One of the exciting things is our exhibit hall and early alumni efforts to get people re-engaged and involved in next year's summit in Hollywood are going spectacularly well. We're very excited to have a wonderful show next year, and we'll be talking about that throughout the year, obviously. So we came together and tried something different this year for our GIP annual meeting Sunday at the Site Solutions Summit. We had almost 100% GIP company representation. I think we only had maybe 2 organizations that weren't represented with us in Boca. We also included our leadership council in the meeting. And what we did at the meeting was we broke into 6 what we called team topic groups. And the goal here was really to focus on areas of need for SCRS audiences. And the way we built out that program was we took notes from the Leadership Council and we did a quick survey to each of your organizations leading into the summit this year, asking what your site-facing priorities were. And our goals really were to discuss those, maybe sometimes even a little bit more provocative way than we had before. Everyone was assigned a team. Every leadership council member and staff were assigned a team, but all our GIPs could pick the topic that they were most interested in. And those topics looked a little something like this. We had site relationships. We had patient recruitment, of course. We had contracts, training, going global, and unpacking SCRS. Unpacking SCRS, that's probably the one that doesn't have quite an explanation here on the icons, but unpacking SCRS is really how do we equip each of you as GIPs, your teams, whether you are a sponsor, a CRO, a solution provider, or a site. How do we equip you with the right materials about SCRS, whether those are metrics, new research opportunities, new ideas? How do we help you communicate up and down inside of your organizations? Those are some of the things that Unpack SCRS were set out to cover. And so the GIPs broke out into these 6 groups, and we met for about 45 minutes. And we started with something called a fire starter. Each of these topics we sort of framed up saying, hey, this is how SCRS sees it. How about you? Do you see it the same way? And in some cases, the group didn't see it the same way. One of those areas, just as an example, was contracts. We have a clear initiative. That clear initiative is really meant to help clinical trial agreements move more efficiently and study startup become faster. But what we gleaned out of that was maybe we needed to understand what people are in the room during the contract process, just as an example, and that work that our CLEAR team has done is valuable, but we need to help them raise the bar and communicate it collaboratively in the industry. Just as an example, that is one of the topics that we covered. So in each of these 6 team topics, our goal is to take the shared knowledge among the GIPs and have that inform our strategy and content moving into 2019. How does that work? So in some cases, it's as simple as taking the interesting ideas, and applying them into our conference schedule. So we've got, as you may know, 4 Site Solution Summits in 2019, starting off with the Oncology Site Solution Summit. We go to the European Site Solution Summit, Asia Pacific Site Solution Summit, and finally the Global Site Solution Summit in October. So a lot of these topics will matriculate into the agenda with Dan and the Summit Planning Committee team working hard to build these out. In fact, the meeting last week was incredible. We had, I believe, about 20 folks in Annapolis, Maryland, helping us create the agenda and topics around next year's Global Site Solution Summit. Some of these were involved, and I'll talk about that here in just a moment. Other areas that we may cover this include new initiatives, new programming, or even new parts of our website. So content or journal articles, those types of things. After everyone had a moment to review the topics, talk as a team, agree, disagree, some folks said, hey, we are definitely on different pages with our teammates here on the next step. That's what we wanted. We want to understand, okay, even if we're on opposite sides of the fence in these areas, how can we just get us a little closer to being perfect, to taking the next step? And that's really what we focused on. So we asked every team to present a priority and a theme. And if you're on this call today as a part of our GIP program, we had 6 different themes that were shared with us. And just given everything that we've tackled here in the last 8 weeks, actually, since we saw you in Boca, we haven't finalized our theme for 2019, but that's something that we will do by January. And that theme is really for us as GIP members and a GIP community to take into our work and our processes both internally and externally with SCRS. So each group voted on a theme, and each group had several ideas, really, on how to participate in these specific focus areas with SCRS. We asked to kind of whittle it down to one priority. If you could focus on one priority with SCRS or how it may relate to your organization, what would it be? And this is what came out of that. So just on the site relationship component, a positive best practice that was collaborative in nature. We spent a lot of time last week, Dan and the Site Solutions Summit Committee, talking about relationships and improving relationships and where we can focus efforts on gap analysis, where there may be communication gaps within the relationship, things of this nature. You'll see this as an ongoing theme throughout the year. We may even come together on some webcast programming around site relationships. And we just as a result of last week's meeting, we thought it'd be great to have a Eagle Award themed webcast that we open to everyone, where perhaps we're talking as an organization with our Eagle Award winners on what they're doing to stand out with sites. What kind of relationship best practices could they share with our audiences? And so that's just an example of where we plan to take this site relationship team topic. That'll probably be sometime mid-year. So Deb and Tracy, Karen, Doug, if you guys are on the line from AstraZeneca and Syneos, with regards to being Eagle Award winners, this is something we are very interested in pursuing, and we will be in touch on those areas as we get into 2019 to see how you'd like to contribute and where we can really make that product great. Patient recruitment, I think the big thing that we got out of the patient recruitment team topic was we need more SCRS-driven metrics. So we had a lot of metrics in different areas. We have a lot of programs that maybe support patient recruitment, one being diversity this year. But I think a lot of folks were saying, hey, we really are looking to continue to build out SCRS, I don't want to say owned, but SCRS-derived metrics for both SCRS site members as well as potentially naive researchers. So how do you take this data and these metrics and you maybe share them at the academic level for students that maybe are interested in getting into research as well? So we're talking experienced sites down to not yet sure if they're going to do research yet. So it's a pretty big footprint here. We have more work to do. And one of the things that we are considering is a quick survey here in the early part of 2019 to better understand ways we could build this into SCRS programming for next year. More to come on that. Contracts, as I had mentioned, we did talk a little bit about this particular effort because there's been an initiative that has been well thought through, built in the CLEAR initiative. And I think that the next step here is helping the team that helped us put together CLEAR raise the bar with just information and awareness on this. But also, I think we've had some good traction here that we need to better define and maybe build out some content around who the right folks to have in the room are when you're talking CTAs, and how do you handle it when the CRO is involved versus working directly with the sponsor? There's all sorts of things that sort of cross-pollinate with relationships and communication that we found really interesting. More to come on this in the early part of 2019 from SCRS. Unpack SCRS is really our most pressing priority because for us it's a tangible area that we can point to for progress. And I would say that two new things that we're excited about, I'll show you in just a second. We will have a new member-facing website. I know if I could hear you in your office, like some people may say hallelujah right now, but one of the things that we're working through is making sure we've got, as you know, any kind of site migration like that does take a lot of time. So we're just dotting the I's and crossing the T's on the redesign and how we're going to position it. From there, the next steps are really just talking a little bit about what are some of the materials that we could potentially prepare for our GIP audiences. You know, we took a first pass this year at a one-sheet, just explaining SCRS and our role within the industry. Each of you, if you attended the GIP meeting, received that. If you received the communication post-GIP meeting, it's been in there several times. But, you know, that's just a first pass. We want to talk about some of the areas around metrics and data, like, what's it like working with SCRS sites? How can we get more sites involved with SCRS? These types of things. And really just build out that detail where you can point to the website on with any of your team members, whether you're a solution provider and you're like, you know, let me talk to you about how SCRS is improving the clinical research enterprise with your clients that you may be reaching at any level, or if you're a sponsor in CRO and you need to share this with teammates, the mission of SCRS, and if they haven't experienced it, maybe sometimes that's been a challenge. So we want to improve that a little bit, and Unpack SCRS is really our first step out of the 16 topics that I can say we will have rather large steps towards improving all of the ideas shared with us in this team topic by our next call. Going global involves really we talked about this briefly, like where Going Global met or began with the GIP program not that very long ago, and how we were only domestic to U.S. just a short while, and now we are having 2 OUS Site Solution Summits. We have an ambassador program that takes us to Taiwan, South Korea, Poland, Hungary, New Zealand, Australia, and the UK. We think we can continue to do better in these areas, and one of the challenges, of course, is that while we are funded on some of these initiatives for the ambassador program, we're really challenged to help the business case around growing in other regions that we know our GIPs need help in. And so I think our next step here that we've discussed internally is coming together with some new foundation strategy. We are looking to continue our symposium and ambassador programs into 2019. So we'll be in the same areas that we were in 18 and 19, and we're looking how do we effectively grow elsewhere in the world? How do we offer SCRS, if you want to say even unpack SCRS for these regions from a membership perspective? We really could use help here on a committee, and so we're going to be likely organizing a survey to see which of you have an interest in supporting us. The folks that are ambassador program supporters, just to name a few, would be Lilly, Syneos, Curian, Metadata has done in the past as well. We will be leaning on everyone as helping us steer some of these areas and understanding, how we can improve our global growth. Not saying that we're not growing globally. We are, and that's really that's really what we want to talk about, is how do we do that in a way that's sustainable and delivering value to the members that we're bringing on board. Okay, training. What we gleaned from this particular team topic was that there are still a lot of processes, a lot of acceptances in the industry that some folks feel maybe could be standardized or shouldn't be standardized, but that there is ongoing need for continuing collaboration, and SCRS's role in that collaboration with industry is, I kept seeing on the comments, if you look at the notes for this particular team topic, a lot of them had to do with raising awareness among industry groups, ACRO, Transcelerate, or just industry in general, about training challenges. I think we need to be careful of our role in as SCRS and understanding where we fit here. So I want to say that we're looking at ways to improve some of the ideas around the team topic moving into second quarter of 2019. I mean, training is going to be an ongoing, well, it's a pillar. I mean, education is a pillar of SCRS. We have webcasts every single month. We have the Site Solution Summits. We have continuing education credit involved with these programs. We have a host of speakers. We have some interest in creating a speakers bureau for SCRS. There's a number of wonderful things going on in training, but there's still some barriers and frustration, I think, within the industry that when I say we need to be careful, we want to think it through. We want to think through all the right angles to help move the needle and where people think this team topic could go and sort of grow within the SCRS programs that we have at our disposal, whether that's content in journals and ongoing webcasts, or is it a separate meeting just to really even bring all the stakeholders together and talk through some of these issues in much the same way that we do at the Site Solution Summit. More to come on that as we get into 2019. As I mentioned, Unpack SCRS is really our highest priority. We know that we want to improve the way we are communicating and the way our members communicate with each other. We also want to improve the way that our GIPs are communicating with each other. And so there is a new SCRS website coming in 2019. We briefly mentioned that at the GIP meeting. One of the big goals of ours is to provide everyone on this line, the GIP team, with a way to communicate with each other. And so we have online communities for our members. In fact, it's really one of the most popular member benefits is the sites-only, what used to be a listserv is now evolved into this online community that helps each other every day. We want to do the same thing for GIPs, and I know that was one of the high elements on the list. And we have had it in existence, but just with everything that I think as we evolve, we're looking at this going, hey, we can do this better. So what we want to do is when we launch the new website is to invite our GIP board members and one team liaison. Because one thing that we've noticed is, and we shared it at the summit, but so many of your organizations, if you're a sponsor or CRO, just a year or two ago, you had almost no titles that involve site-facing personnel, and now you have some rather senior level titles that are working with us, and some are on the line today. What I mean by that is we know that it's a team effort at each organization, and we want to be able to at the moment keep it closed so that it's just a board member and perhaps one liaison to help just in case that there's a message that needs to be answered. But our goal is to have that online community when the website launches. And when we do that, I would anticipate a very short call like this one where we just help them to onboard everyone on how to use that and maybe just some guidelines, knowing that we all have different relationships and business incentives in the industry. The one thing that we really enjoy about our GIP program is how objective everyone is, and we feel like that's a priority for that particular online community. So that will be coming, I want to say, by second quarter. So be on the lookout for that. We will share that information. It'll be a big hoopla when we're ready, and we will communicate that accordingly with everyone on our GIP board. Now, some of you, we're having a lot of conversations right now about GIP or organizational strategy moving into 2019 and beyond, really. And we did launch the SCRS programs website. So if you go right now, actually, not right now because we're talking, but maybe after our call, if you wanted to go to www.scrsprograms.com, you will see that we've got an opportunity there to learn more about the programs that other GIPs are getting involved with. Some of them involve investment and have overhead in terms of delivering things like our site advocacy groups. We have some wonderful site advocacy groups that are building into 2019, some actually extending into 2020 on a variety of topics that you can learn a little bit more about on the programs website. Others are working on specific research or content delivery programs, things that are customizable white paper or survey details. These are all options that SCRS offers. And they are outside of the GIP. They're only available to GIPs. To participate in any of these programs, you need to be a GIP member. So I just wanted to make sure that folks know that that is part of the value of the GIP program, is that exclusivity. There are also programs that we'll cover here in just a moment that are ongoing and really just are here year-round. Things that have, like our oncology program that's coming up. Any GIP that wanted to be involved in that particular steering committee could do so. We had a lot of oncology folks that joined us all throughout the year on that program. Some of our GIPs stepped that up a little bit and helped us fund the oncology program. And the benefits there are really built around visibility at the meeting and throughout the year, sort of helping us steer this oncology program as it begins to take off here in February, which we're really excited about. But we are always happy and willing to talk with you about programs that you can participate in at no cost, programs that you could participate in at an investment or that align with strategy you may have moving into next year, whether you're a solution provider, CRO, or sponsor. And so you can reach out to Marcus or I about that at any time, and we'll be happy to set up a call. And if there's other folks on the team that we need to include, we will do that. And many of you have taken us up on that opportunity here as we connect regularly. I do hope that when you have a question or need from us as a team, you found it easily accessible in terms of reaching us and getting return call, no matter who you're working with on our team. We take a lot of pride in that. If there's something that you need, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, and we're happy to help. We may not always have the direct answer, but we will work to get it for you immediately, and that's something that we'll obviously continue, and that's part of the reason we wanted to build the new member-facing website as well as this program website, just to help folks understand all the areas of engagement with SCRS. Okay, this slide is one that we will share with you, but these are opportunities for thought leadership, and I know that I'm not going to sit and read the description here, but we have a number of ongoing communication channels that we're always looking to populate. STAR in Focus, DYK, and the Insight Journal. These are, you can see the frequency here, but these are all programs that my colleague Jessica Knott manages as our Director of Communications. Jessica is always looking for thought leadership from our global impact partners. You know, this is one of those intangible benefits, but we do work to always ask our GIPs, hey, do you have someone that that would be interested in speaking at a conference? Do you have someone that would be interested in writing an article or helping us with some content or subject matter expertise in these particular channels? You know, we have opportunities here throughout the year. And so Jessica Knott it would be the primary contact for much of our content area, and then, of course, Dan Milam would be the contact for our programming at the summits. I will share that if you ever have interest in those areas, please reach out to us, and we'll put you in touch with Dan or Jessica. But we also have their information here at the end of the slide, and of course on our website should you need it. I'm just going to very, very quickly talk about the ongoing GIP initiatives. And this slide may look familiar because it's similar to what we had on our last call. Jimmy Bechtel, who is the Senior Project Manager here, he runs our GIP initiatives. And these are ongoing programs that anyone can participate in. I would also include oncology here. Most of our GIPs have assisted SCRS in naming an oncology colleague to help us with that oncology steering committee. But these are other programs that are built around areas of need and strategic focus within the industry. And so you're seeing a few that I'll just review very, very quickly. The big one that's relatively new since our last conversation was Industry Partner of Choice. And this is a webcast series that is open for our GIP members, sponsors and CROs who want to learn a little bit more about becoming the partner of choice for sites. Again, it goes back to that focus on site relationships. These are things that you can attend as GIPs. You can just register, and if you have any challenges with that, we can get you squared away. Okay, three other ones. One in particular I'm going to focus on is the site best practice. We have gotten a lot of feedback on the trial opportunity platform. This will continue to evolve. And what we want to know is how can we help our sponsors with studies they may need to share with SCRS members throughout the year. We've had mixed feedback on top. One of the things is even with the folks that are matched, they're having a hard time getting in touch or getting any feedback from the sponsor once they've submitted. So these are little elements that we hear you. We're continuing to iron them out as we go. We try our best. If there's a study that someone wants to put through top, we are happy to help you. Jimmy is here and available throughout the year. And if you aren't quite sure about what the trial opportunity platform is, please feel free to reach out to Jimmy on understanding and getting involved there. SCRS Best Site Practices has gone live on the website since our last conversation. And really this is where we are helping members evaluate around best practices. And it actually gives it's an evaluation tool, and it sort of gives you a rating on where you rank on a median on a couple of different areas of best practice. And so if you get a chance, take a look at myscrs.org, and you could find the best site practices under the members only area. The last one here is I'm with SCRS, and this is really just if you're interested in sharing, hey, we're involved with those initiatives and we're behind them, you can. The goal of this is to just help members understand that there's always an evolving progress with adoption of activities. You know, we talked about one of the areas of focus from our team topics was really trying to get clear and training ideas more closely aligned with industry. And I think that this is a good example of one where we're just basically saying if you're able to promote that you're involved with these initiatives and can share with SCRS that, you know, there's an ongoing dialogue, it's just a way to take the visualization of that process here. I think when we came out, it was sort of like red, yellow, green. I think we've improved that a bit here to help with the optics. I'm running a little late here, everyone, so I'm going to try to go a little faster. Two particular initiatives that are always on, that have been ongoing and have done some pretty remarkable work in this past year. One of which is the diversity initiative. This program, if you had a chance to see the committee members of the Diversity Initiative, they invested in helping SCRS do research. They've developed, Diana spearheaded this program, and it became a number of session and plenaries at this year's Site Solutions Summit. We've had a lot of interest in this program, and right now, if you were to check out the Diversity Initiative on the myscrs.org website, you can take a look at the white papers that came out of it and learn a little bit more about the evaluation and tools that they've put together as a result of this program. There is some conversation on how and where we continue the Diversity Initiative moving into next year. So if you're on the call and you're going, hey, we haven't really talked much about that, it's because we haven't. We were working on getting all of the pieces in place, and now I think it's time to talk with the GIP community here on where the Diversity Initiative can go. And so for the folks that helped us on the initial Diversity Initiative team, we will be sending a short survey here at the beginning of the year just to understand how we can best help you deliver the information that's already been built and where we can work to continue some of these efforts, because we think it's an excellent program, and of course Diana and the team did just a tremendous job here. And you'll be seeing more of the ripples of the Diversity Initiative in things like programming and articles and a number of other channels that we have throughout the year. So thank you to everyone that participated on this initiative, and we will be in touch shortly about planned next steps. This slide is from our last presentation, and really it was, there's Dan there in the center of everyone in Taiwan. We have had such remarkable response from the areas within the Ambassador Program. Our plans are to approach these areas and regions similarly in 2019. And as I had mentioned earlier, in our Going Global program, one of the things that came out of that from a team topic perspective was, hey, SCRS, what if you had a foundation built for global growth that people could participate in? This is on the table, as well as some other ideas that we are interested in evaluating and pursuing. I would anticipate that you'll see more requests from you in the coming 6 weeks or so, really around ways that SCRS is delivering now and how we could deliver in the future global growth, including potentially coming up with the a foundation type program. So thank you for the folks that have sponsored us in these regions this year. They're tremendously successful. We're still getting people calling us from the symposiums in these areas. And the symposium, for everyone that doesn't know, it's sort of like a mini summit. Dan does a wonderful job of getting involved with the people on the ground in these areas. Sinios, Lily, Akurian, they've helped us with identifying site audiences in these regions and what their area of need is. They've also helped support membership in these areas. So we're thankful to folks that have helped us here this year on the Ambassador Program, as well as your guidance and help in understanding where we could take this moving into next year. Okay. A quick note. As part of your GIP program, every GIP board member has a complimentary registration at any summit that we host. And I wanted to share, and we will of course follow up with you on this code, but if you have not registered for the Oncology Site Solutions Summit, or if you know that your oncology colleague, like if you've had someone else with you that has been helping us on the steering committee and they haven't registered, now's a great time to go on to the OncologySiteSolutionsSummit.com website This is this code here will, if you fill out the registration and you type in this code at the end, it will zero out. This is specifically for the folks on the phone, our board members here, whether you are a sponsor, a CRO, or a solution provider. The code works the same. Thank you. There it is in the chat as well. This will take you to register for the Austin show. If you are interested, if you have sites that you work with that are interested in joining us, we do have a early bird program that we are working with our project manager on this particular summit next February in Austin. It's only it's about 7 weeks away. So we're excited for this meeting, and obviously getting folks there and involved is our primary objective. So if there are sites that you're working with that you, or institutions or academics that feel that they need to be there, we are happy to take any referral you might have and conduct the outreach individually to them. Please let us know if there's anyone that you feel should be at the Oncology Site Solutions Summit, and we sure hope that you will join us this February in Austin. Beautiful hotel, by the way. It's going to be great. And that'll be our first Oncology Summit. This will be our fourth European Site Solutions Summit. And much the same way, this is going to be in March. You do also have a complimentary registration waiting for you if you just use this code the same way that I've mentioned. This will apply to that code. And so, I'm sorry, to that registration. And so this, this particular event is held at the Tower Hotel. It's absolutely fantastic. We had a 250 plus, actually I think it was 265 folks join us in London last year. Vivian Vanderwald does an amazing job as our chair. She's helping us out again this year. We're really looking forward to this program, and we hope to see you there in London. We anticipate actually in all of our programs a sold-out expo hall. We have many of you as GIPs are also exhibiting. We're thankful for that, and this program is no different. It's a really great event as well, and we hope that you guys can join us. We are moving with the new website to some new registration software. So I don't have the codes to share for Asia Pac or Global quite yet, but I wanted to let you know that those codes will be made available to you as soon as we can. And I just wanted to let you know that you do also have a registration waiting for you at these events. I've seen a question come over. If you're a GIP, you can use these codes. If you're on the leadership committee and you're joining us on this call, please reach out to Allison with regards to the code to use. This has been emailed to you, but I don't have that on this particular slide, and I'm sorry, I don't know what that is, what that code is. We'll work to get that to you after the call. And then lastly, we've never had such a swell of interests. Honestly, if we didn't move locations, we'd be completely sold out at the Site Solutions Summit. We have new folks joining us. We have longtime folks joining us. It's going to be an incredible venue. We're back on the beach. It's beautiful. The exhibit hall, I don't mind plugging it because there's literally a wall of windows that overlooks the beachfront here, and it'll be amazing. So we hope you can join us, of course, at the Global Site Solutions Summit. Mark your calendars. Marcus and I came together and said, hey, it'd be great is if we could go ahead and outline all of the webcasts for 2019. And we thank you for joining us. I know typically we do 3. We wanted to do 4. We've had a lot of transition this year, and wanted to make sure that we touch base with everyone one last time before we get into next year. This particular schedule, you can register for all of these in the link that you used to register for today. So they're all up on the website, and we'll send a reminder. But this way, you've got it on your calendar. It automatically sends a reminder notice and everything that you need to attend the webcast. And we welcome you to share. Webcasts are open to anyone in your organization. Obviously, we want our GIP board members on the webcast, but just a heads up that if there's someone that you'd like to share that with, you could do that right from the page, actually. It's quite wonderful. Everything's there that you need. The other thing is, if you're going to be at any of these meetings, we will too. We will be there too. And this is just what we've got planned to date. You can see it only takes us up to June. And there's actually a handful of other meetings and opportunities that I don't have listed that we are still evaluating and working to see how we're going to participate. But I just wanted to share, if you're going to be specifically at Scope in February, we will have a event for our GIPs. It's just a networking event for us all to get together and catch up. We're also looking at ways to support our GIPs at ASCO, particularly your colleagues that may be on our oncology steering committee. We have one really cool idea, and that is almost like a road show. The ASCO hall is so large that it's quite challenging to stand out with a booth, especially when you're a trade organization. So one thing that some of our GIP oncology teams have asked is, would you come to our booth and represent SCRS, or maybe join us for an in-booth presentation? We would absolutely welcome that. And so if you're listening to this and that's something that you'd have interest in, please let us know. This is the first time we've done that. We're excited about it. We think we maybe could also include some of our members in that effort. And it's just a different way to approach such a wonderfully large community of folks at ASCO. And then, of course, we'll see you guys at DIA this year as well. And we will also have a GIP event at DIA. Some next steps, real quick. Please register for the Oncology and European Summits. Don't wait to the last moment, because we do have some restrictions on hotel limitations on hotel rooms. We want to make sure everybody, particularly our GIPs, are covered in this area. Remember to mark your calendars for upcoming SCRS casts and events. I should also say that this webcast that we did today, of course, it'll be archived. It becomes a video, and the slide deck and everything, that'll be emailed to you tomorrow. So if you wanted to share that, you can do that as well. I will also share that because we had so many wonderful notes from our GIP meeting at the summit, we will include that PDF of the minutes that we will be referencing throughout the year, really, to this webcast. So if you come back to the archive, you'll see that listed there. And we have sent out the minutes twice now, but if for some reason you haven't received them and you're listening to this, just reach out to us. We'll get them to you directly anytime you need them. But that's helping us with all of our next steps. The GIP online community page that I mentioned, that'll be exclusively for our board members and one liaison from your organization. We hope to build that, complete that, and launch it appropriately when the new website goes live. And there will be a onboarding call, a real quick one to help us there. We will have a quick survey to ask everyone what they feel the best materials we could be producing to help unpack SCRS at your organization might look like moving into next year, so that we can sort of begin to prioritize some of those areas. And the SCRS program website was really a first pass at that, but like I mentioned, we're wanting to equip you with anything you need internally as well. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. And the other thing is we will have a small survey for the global team topic here sometime within the month of January, just to understand if there's anyone on the line or perhaps a team approach that wants to help understand how we're growing globally. We'll have a few questions for you, and we will likely begin to build that into our team topic efforts into 2019 here. The patient recruitment and training, as I mentioned, we need to bake on that a little bit more and make sure that that we have a survey and some metrics around those two areas based around some of the feedback we got from those groups, which was fantastic. How can we take that and leverage that into something meaningful beyond what we're already doing? So, we're already doing webcasts and content and programming, but just as a reminder, we want to understand ways we can deliver this more effectively to industry. And then lastly, we will look to continue the clear and relationship topics throughout 2019. So be looking for opportunities to reconnect. If you've been involved with CLEAR or want to get involved with CLEAR, please reach out to Jimmy. We will have that some dates available here as we move into next year. We will share those when ready. And of course, the relationship topics, they are already top of mind moving into the Site Solution Summit planning and some of our communication efforts into next year. And then last but not least, if you do have a question, these are the folks to reach out to. You can always reach out to us. Like I mentioned, if we don't have the answer right away, we will work to get that for you. We are, of course, we're excited about 2019. And on our next call, I'm anxious to share the collective theme that we've come up with based on all the feedback that the 6 groups gave us in Boca Raton. And that'll be what we use to inform all of our next steps and actions. That concludes my part of the webcast. Thanks for spending a few extra minutes with me today. And I know we're pretty close to our time, so if there's questions that you may have and we don't get a chance to answer them, please feel free to reach out to us directly and we'll work to get you an answer. The one that I'm seeing here is, yes, in terms of the upcoming Oncology Site Solution Summit in Austin, Texas, that code, again, that's at a $0 registration. That will help you get in. And we are also looking if you're oncology subject matter experts or folks on the steering committee, while we've shared this with them, it always helps to reinforce that we are Dan's looking for help on some of the panels for the meeting and would welcome their participation as a subject matter expert. Speakers also are included at the same rate. There's no registration cost if you're speaking. Okay, Regina, I think that's it. Everyone, thank you so much.
All right. Sounds good to me. Thank you so much. This actually concludes today's webcast. Thank you all for attending. The recording will be available at webbenthealth.webben.tv. We will send all registrants an email tomorrow with this link. Thank you.